What is genre? Why is it important? Genre is basically putting films into loose categories to separate and define them. Some examples of genre are action, horror, romantic, and fantasy. We don't just go into genres, we can go into subgenres, which are categories within a genre. For example, in horror, there's erotic horrors, serial killer horrors, and creature features, and many more. There are three main reasons that producers like to use genre films. These are: 1. Genre films provide film producers with an established target audience for their film. 2. Genres provide a clear set of rules within which to create a diegesis. And 3. Genre allows the film to be clearly and easily advertised using recognised conventions which make it appealing to the audience. The reason audiences like genre is because it establishes expectations of what the film might be like before they pay for their ticket, buy their DVD, or purchase the download. This ensures that the audiences enjoy the product that they pay for and believe the diegesis which the film creates. This is known as a contract of plausibility, in which the audience suspends their disbelief. The narrative structure is the baseline for all genres that you can think of. This traditionally starts with equilibrium, which is basically a normal. Then it goes into disequilibrium, then realization, and finally there is a new equilibrium. The genre cycle is a set of 4 stages that genres go through. In film noir, these stages are clearly shown and starts with the primitive stage, also referred to as proto-noirs. And they are Hollywood crime thrillers of the 1930s such as Pepe Le Mocco and M. The second stage of the genre cycle is the classic stage, which involves the golden eras of film noir, which many refer to as true noir, as they show the conventions of the genre of film noir. Some examples of this stage are Lady in the Death House and The Woman in White. The third stage of the genre cycle is the revisionist stage. This stage is referred to as neo-noir, and it's a modern and updated version of the classic stage. And some examples of these are The Long Goodbye and Sin City. The final stage of the genre cycle is the parodic stage. This involves movies using the conventions of film noir in a comedic situation. In other words, they make fun of the genre by using it. Some examples of this are Play It Again Sam and Dead Man Don't Wear Plaid. Film noir is a genre that we do not commonly use anymore due to the change in what the audience desires. But one of the most popular in the world, and mainly in America, for many years between the 1940s and 50s. Film noir narratives generally involve murder and romance in the underbelly of American culture, which is enhanced by the effect of World War II that the American dream is not a reality. The war had demonstrated to the Americans that the world is a place full of evil and not the idyllic place which many have. Film noir is full of broken and fundamentally flawed characters who do evil, selfish things in search of the American dream. Film noir has certain codes and conventions that make it what it is. The visual codes and conventions of film noir are a male protagonist, a femme fatale, a main antagonist, cigarettes, lipstick, sex, seduction, murder, and struggle. The lighting codes and conventions are typically high contrast to create silhouettes and shadows in the dark world of film noir. The reason all films need to have certain codes and conventions is so that the audience will accept the film for the genre that they're being told that it is. An example of this is a rom-com, which has to have scenes of romance, but usually a breakup, and comedic realizations for one or both of the main characters, with them getting back together in the end. During the time between World War II and the Cold War, film noir was in its golden era, and this coincided with cinematography's golden era as well. The reason film noir was so popular was because Americans who went to war were used to seeing death, and for the ones that didn't go to war, they wanted to experience what the soldiers had to go through. And at this time, unless they went and killed someone, film noir was the only way. Film noir was popular with producers at the time, as there were hundreds of Pulp Fiction novels to adapt to the screen. They were relatively cheap to produce, and the audiences loved them. For these reasons, Hollywood were happy to give the audience what they wanted to see. Most noir films either came from books or from German writers and directors who worked on the German Expressionism movement, and through the features of the popular books and a new foreign visual style, film noir was born and made its name in history. Before World War II, film noir was all set in studios with backdrops, but after the war, cameras had become more portable, which allowed films to be shot on location, on real streets and in real buildings, which made the films seem more realistic and therefore more desirable. Furthermore, men who filmed during the war filmed where they could, and when they got back they shared their ideas, and film noir started to be filmed in a more dramatic fashion. But after a decade at the top, it all came crashing down when old Hollywood collapsed and film noir went with it. Although some are made these days, film noir is a dead art, which died and can never truly be brought back, with all the melodrama,
just us, and the cameras, and those wonderful people out there in the dark. All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
and unrealistic deaths. Although in some ways it has been reborn as neo-noir, which is the updated film noir with modernised stories. When film noir was big, it had many popular movies, and most made were considered a success, but some are better. Not just better, but the best. And these films are Kiss Me Deadly, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Citizen Kane, Double Indemnity, and Touch of Evil. These films will be remembered in history as a defining film of noir's stage.